This video is designed to help instructors establish and maintain community partnerships for service learning. Another short video describes what service learning and community-based research classes are all about and how they're conceptualized. But that's for another time. For now, let's just focus on this. There's more to it than you think. Let us show you what we mean with this example. Deciding to invest the time and energy into creating a service learning course is a bit like deciding to invest in a sea kayak. Well, first, there's the sea kayak itself. But then you have to get a paddle, and then a life vest, and a spray skirt, and then something to carry the sea kayak on and around with, and you need to know how to read the tides and how to do the Eskimo roll, and hey, wait a minute, how did this get so complicated so quickly? Well, like kayaking, there's more to service learning than just the experience itself. There might be security background checks, and that costs time and money. You also have to consider the ease of transportation to and from the site for students. Can they get there easily using mass transit? You also need to consider the supervision and the capacity of the partner. Do they have the human resources and time to really help your students have a great experience while meeting their own needs of their own organization? So, here's a question for you. Should students choose their own community partner site? Well, would you let them choose the textbooks for your course? Probably not. That's because textbooks are selected on the basis of instructional objectives, and so are community partner agencies. What typically happens when you let students find their own community partners without your input or involvement? Well, students being students, they'll wait until the last minute, and when that occurs, they try to cram too many hours into too little time, and then the focus is on racking up hours rather than learning. The community partner does not know who these students are or why they're knocking on their door. And you don't know what the students are doing at the site, and if what they're doing meets your instructional goal. It may become an undue burden on the agency, and a final product or project rarely gets finished or delivered. And that may cause more harm than good for you, the students, the agency, and for the reputation of the college. Ideally, an instructor has several partners to serve as a kind of menu. This way, students do have some choice in the process. And once you've established long-term partnerships, an instructor does not have to reinvent the wheel each year and start over from scratch. Okay, you get the picture. So what does an instructor need to do? Well, here's the catch. You have to start thinking and planning well in advance. This is not the kind of thing you start doing and thinking about a week before the semester starts, as you will soon see. Your Service Learning Center and Campus Compact can help you get started. Let's look at some timeline and steps that are typically involved in setting up a service learning class. Well, at least in the ideal world. Let's assume you're going to teach a service learning class in the spring. So that's what we're shooting for. In the late summer, in the year before that spring course, there's some things you should start thinking about and doing. You probably want to meet with your campus center to identify potential community partners if you don't have any in mind. Then as the summer progresses, you want to conduct on-site visits and meetings with those potential partners to see if it's a suitable site for your students and your course. And at the same time, you need to see if your students in course are going to meet the needs of the community partner. After the discussion, if you determine this is going to work and you get the green light to go ahead, you're going to want to create an action plan that outlines who does what, when, where, and why. Then in the fall, you'll want to start creating a service learning information sheet for the students about the community agencies that they'll be working with and their partners. You want to include service learning in the language of the syllabus itself so they understand what service learning is and what it isn't. You'll want to discuss logistical support with your campus center. You'll also need to start obtaining background checks for your students if that's necessary, depending on the type of agency they're working with. Now things really start to liven up and get busy as you approach the spring. In that first class, you'll want to have an orientation with your community partners who come in and talk about their agency, give an overview of their mission, and the service project itself. At that time, the students sign up and select the agency they want to work with. Throughout the semester, you're going to need to have in-class check-ins to see how the service activities are going and how they align with what's going on in your class. And then throughout the semester, the students are submitting service learning related assignments to you. Don't forget, you're going to be conducting reflection all throughout the semester that gives students an opportunity to reflect on how their service activities connect with what's going on in the class. And then at the end of the semester, you want to have evaluations on the whole process and, of course, have celebrations and perhaps even presentations that include the community partner. Okay, and what exactly do you talk about once you meet with these community partners? Well, here's the top 10 things to discuss with a community partner. Number 1, you want to define service learning. Service learning is a teaching and learning strategy that integrates meaningful community service with instruction and reflection to enrich the learning experience, teach civic responsibility, and strengthen communities. It's not a service project or an internship or volunteering. You also want to share your tentative syllabus and instructional objectives. You want to find out if your instructional needs match the agency's goals and programs. You'll also want to describe the student's skill level. What year are they in school and what age are they? What are they able to do and not able to do? Go over timelines and calendars. What can and will occur over a quarter or semester? And when will this start and end? Is it ongoing or will it take place off and on during the semester? Remember too, agencies have their own calendar needs as well. Consider the capacity of the partner. How many students can they handle at any given time? And when can they use and supervise those students? Explore and discuss possible projects that meet your instructional objectives plus the community partner goals. You'll also want to clarify roles. You'll need to discuss if the community partner has any role and responsibility in the actual supervision of your students. You'll also want to explore what role they might play, if any, in the assessment of your students. You might explore whether or not the community partner could make guest presentations in the class, or even help conduct reflection. You might even consider how a community partner might assist you in co-authoring a paper or co-presenting at a conference. You'll also want the community partner to provide an orientation to the students that describes the mission and history of the agency, as well as describe the service opportunities that the students will be engaged in and answer their questions. The partner also needs to go over logistics, expectations, safety, protocol, and other kinds of policy. You'll also want to discuss and determine who is the agency contact person and create a communication plan. That includes how and when they get in touch with you as well. And finally, create an action plan that includes assessment. This lays out who does what, when, and where, so everyone is on the same page, literally. Remember, both you and the partner can say no if this is not the right fit, and it's better to have this discussion early on rather than halfway through the semester. And remember too, even with upfront conversations and planning, there's bound to be some bumps along the way. When this happens, it's important to quickly address them by having an honest conversation with your partner. Amazing community engagement partnerships can and do happen. The upfront work that goes into making them work really pays off, and things are much easier the next time around because both you and the community agency have taken the time to forge a partnership and relationship. So that's an overview to establishing and maintaining community partnerships. And remember, like investing in a kayak, there's more to a community partnership than just finding an agency. The goal is for you, your students, and the community agency to have a great experience. Oh, and just so you know, many community partners watch a similar video to help them learn how to establish a meaningful partnership with you. So, yes, we understand there's a lot to know and do, but it's good to know that your Service Learning Center and Campus Compact are here to keep you afloat. Thanks.